All right. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, has acknowledged the unwavering support he has received from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying it helped him to succeed in his job as Minister of the FCT. Barrister Wike, who spoke in Abuja on Wednesday, August 21, 2024, during a media parley with some select journalists marking his first year in office, said President Tinubu had given him everything he requires to work and succeed as Minister of the FCT. He said the President has not interfered with the running of the FCT and has rather stood by him in difficult decisions he has taken so far as Minister. The FCT Minister, who described the ongoing provision of infrastructure in the FCT as a revolution, said it could not have been achieved without the strong leadership and backing of the President. He also disclosed that the support of the President for the withdrawal of the FCT from the Treasury single account, as well as establishment of the FCT Civil Service Commission, in addition to the inclusion of youth and women in governance, were some of the key policy initiatives that have helped to translate the renewed hope agenda of the President into dividends of good governance in the FCT. The FCT Minister further disclosed that President Tinubu has also increased the financial threshold for capital projects in the FCT from 1.5 billion naira to 10 billion naira, which he said has helped to eliminate unnecessary bottlenecks and ensure the timely delivery of infrastructure projects. Consequently, the minister said a lot of projects were currently in the process of being procured, adding that the nation's capital was on the verge of witnessing a huge transformation that will positively impact the people. He further disclosed that the provision of road infrastructure will cut across the city center and the satellite towns. Inclusive among the road projects to be executed, according to the FCT Minister, are the 18-kilometer link road between Nyanya, Orozo, and Kashi to Apo, as well as a dualized road from Kuje Township to Gwagwalada Area Council in the southern flank of the city. He said the road projects, when completed, will help to decongest the Abuja city center and improve the lives of residents in the satellite towns, as well as encourage agricultural activities. He said development is not restricted to the cities alone, as rural areas will see huge impact in the next year. The minister equally reviewed plans to collaborate with the private sector in provision of roads to new districts to encourage real estate development in order to address the challenges of housing deficits. He also disclosed that the FCT administration has improved security in the nation's capital, thereby making the city more secure and comfortable for its inhabitants. He said the overall objective of the administration is to make Abuja one of the best cities in the world where people can stay comfortable and secure, and thanked President Tinubu for the confidence reposed in him to carry out the task of transforming the city. On agriculture, the minister, who stated that the FCT has a comparative advantage in the production of rice, yam and cashew, said rural roads were being constructed as part of the inclusive agricultural policies of the FCT to provide access to farmlands in the rural areas. He added that the FCT was also considering the option of partnership with the private sector, leveraging the vast arable land to increase food production. Victor, you're well versed with the FCT. You do live there. I mean, you tribes between FCT and River State. I need a first-hand account of the works that the FCT minister has been so loudly applauded for. Are these things true, Victor?
Well, I mean, of course, the works of the minister in the FCT, not just in the FCT, but even in the satellite towns, is obvious. One, I think the only way you would want to criticize is if you have a personal grudge with the minister in terms of his activities. But first of all, what I want to mention is the idea of maintenance. You know, one of the problems we have in this country or this part of the world is maintenance culture that we don't have. But I mean, I can say that, I mean, since he became Minister of the FCT, there has been that constant maintenance of, you know, several activities, several processes of governance in the FCT, which is quite good. You know, one is sanitation. You know, the sanitation aspect of Abuja, if left in just a couple of days, you see it's very obvious how bad, you know, it is. But so far, it's been consistent in terms of maintenance. Another thing I give kudos to him is traffic. You know, there's usually a lot of traffic, especially, you know, there are times if you're going there, for instance, there's certain persons that walk out of town, like the Yanya area, you know, that go to Nasarawa, Kefi and all of that.
Maraba.
Yes, Maraba. During the evenings, there are usually heavy traffics along that area. But, you know, he has managed the traffic well. I've seen changes.
That's congested to a large extent.
Yes, the fact that it didn't deteriorate, and of course there's been changes, is the free flow. That road has been expanded, you know, moving down to, you know, Yanya, Nasarawa and all of that. So he's done quite well in terms of infrastructure. Even some of the assets of the government in the FCT. I mean, the other day I went to what they are renovating the church, what they call the economical center. Yes, I mean, they are doing renovation even in the central mosque. If you go to the stadium, they are doing renovations there. You know, and these are public areas. You go to the parks too. You know, they're all of that. The road system. Sure, basically, it's obvious that the minister has tried. One of the issues that usually, you know, was a problem in Abuja, you know, in terms of, there's places they call lungus. You know, in almost every city center, there's like the backyards in the aspect.
Yeah, the ghettos.
The ghettos. And what they've done is managed, and that's where insecurity comes out for most of the time.
Okay.
And they've managed, you know, security in those areas, involved communities in security, which I see quite interesting. These days, you move around and you see security.
Local vigilantes.
Yeah, local vigilante, which for me, I think, so far, so good. And the FCT minister is doing. Abuja is a place that has a lot of influential people, and if not properly managed, you know, one big man can come and look and take this decision in this area. But so far, it's been a good one. So I mean, give kudos to the FCT minister in terms of even new roads. If you're going out to the airport road, you're going back to Lugbe, those other areas. I mean, Lugbe has opened so much that it doesn't look like, you know, it used to be. Yes, I mean, developed. Real estate is growing, and I'm saying down to the Kuje area, Maraba, and all of that. So I think the FCT minister is doing quite well when it comes to infrastructure. One thing I can't really say for sure, and I understand why it's like that, you know, Abuja, because of the way Abuja is in terms of human capital development. You know, most people in Abuja are like, you know, focus on their businesses. You hardly, I think the number of people that are largely dependent on the government in the FCT, you know, in terms of, I think it's quite low. You have mostly civil servants and business people.
It's commercialized.
So, yes, so it's commercialized. So people are just like Lagos, focus on their businesses and all of that. And the environment is conducive to do your business lawfully. So in that aspect, you know, it's difficult for you to say, okay, how is the government faring in terms of human capital development, except you go down to the outskirts of, you know, the FCT, go outside to all them, Duse, and yes, all those places. If you go down, and that's where you get the consensus, which I don't do so much. So you ask if in terms of human capital development, how well, you know, the government is faring in that aspect. So I mean, but kudos to the FCT in terms of infrastructure, maintenance. Mostly for me, what I find key is maintenance. I mean, if you go drive through Abuja, you would really love it.
Yeah. So now, if I get a summation of what you've said, now you are applauding the FCT minister on maintenance, and you're applauding him on infrastructural development. You also talked about traffic decongestion. You also talked about security, securing Abuja, particularly going down to the ghetto areas of Abuja to work with local vigilantes and the communities to collaborate on security. So Abuja is a lot more secure.
Yeah, it seems like there's an authority in Abuja. So people are actually, everybody seems to be careful.
Themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, it's usually easy for you go to an area and you find a certain group of persons taking dominant and acting. But you see,
the lord of the area.
Yes, you notice that people take actions and, you know, somehow they're like, oh, this something could happen and all of that. So I mean, yeah.
And then you also talked about sanitation.
Yes.
Abuja is much cleaner. So you talked about 7 focal points of the things you're applauding the FCT minister for. All right, interesting. Let me come to you, Ugochukwu. What do you have to say about what is your review on the things done so far by the FCT minister. You're also not a stranger to Abuja.
You know, I have a lot of things to say about the FCT minister in his infrastructural and developmental strides in Abuja, which I'm not surprised, because you had me on one or two or more of our shows here say that if Nigeria if presidency is what is being handed out to someone, it will be given to Ezenwo Nyesom Wike or David Umahi because of what we could see that they did when they were governors. So it cannot be taken out from them. Wike transformed the landscape of River State, because this is not the River State that we knew that people spend hours just from here to Bibo, from here to LMA, or even thinking, and some people live so early and all that. So, but now you can close your eyes and drive within minutes and come back. Then in River State, he touched the, my co-panelist said about the destruction of the lungus. He did it in River State. So most of that is what we call a leader that listens, a leader that is focused, a leader that is visionary. Because all those things that he saw as a governor, because Nigerian peculiarities are the same, almost. Because in River State, we had some problems. In River State, he has talked about traffic, I talked about security. In River State, we knew what it was before Wike took the bull by the horn to restore sanity. You remember how he dealt with the bullfire, the non-state actors producing locally made fuel and kerosene. So how River State was suffering from this airborne suit. So he dealt with it, and today people can laundry their white clothes and put it outside overnight. Yeah, but before 2, 3, 5 years ago, it was not like that.
But so when you come down to the FCT,
when you come down to this, that's what I'm drawing it from, where you will not take it away from him. What is happening in FCT should not surprise you, especially those of us that are in River State. So that's why I'm. So the FCT minister, I think Tinubu should count himself very lucky to have appointed him, because if he has missed it, because I did the research, you know, how many FCT ministers we've had, and the two names that come out. It was even yesterday on national radio that I even remembered. I had that Bala Mohammed. Yes, he was even an FCT minister. He did not make a name. I was even surprised. Then I now went to his biography and saw that he actually was during the Jonathan's era. But what mark did he make? So if not for Nyesom Wike, the only name we are hearing about when you mention FCT is Nasir El-Rufai. So why has it been like that? So that is why I say that Bola Tinubu cannot be grateful enough to have appointed someone like Nyesom. An FCT minister, for instance, is like a governor of a state. Remember that he has the National Assembly to present his budget to. He's not like any other minister. He has local government chairman under his purview. He has his own FCT ministries, which I'm coming to. But now, you look at the vision that he took to FCT. Maybe that was not his dream ministry, but that is where nature wants him to continue to make his name and make his mark. Because FCT, after El-Rufai, we have lost FCT to all manner of people, which you could hear Nyesom Wike, you know, cry about when he assumed office. That FCT has been taken over by non-state actors, contractors and big-time politicians buy houses, build houses, and lock it up, and they go out. And those places, because people stay in Abuja, but they don't live in Abuja. That's the irony of the FCT. But you hear of Lekki, you hear of VI, Banana Island. People are living there, but in FCT it's a different case. That people build houses that citizens cannot afford to pay. And they lock it off, and they go to overseas and stay. And you are mortgaging Nigeria, suffering the working class, suffering the middle class, and the middle class disappeared in the FCT. Maybe my brother could, you know, lecture me a little if they are coming back to that life of middle class. But it was not to be said in Abuja prior to the coming of Nyesom Wike on the 21st of August 2023. Down the line, look at the developmental strides that he has done. The FCT has produced a Jeremiah Husseini. FCT has programmed Maman Katangora. FCT has produced Ibrahim Bunu. FCT has produced Muhammad Abagana as FCT minister. What is their mark? What are all these names now? Are big names in Nigeria. What did they do in FCT really? You now come down, you see Ali Omar. You come down again, you see Muhammad Alero, who is in the Senate now. He has been a third or fourth-time senator. He was a two-time governor. What was his mark in FCT? Can anybody in FCT, like my brother stated here, point out at anything that they wrote their names on? Okay, now you now see an air-fire. You now come there, you now see Bala Mohammed. You now see the worst of FCT ministers. As the investigation I did yesterday said it's not the worst of Ifeanyi Ugochukwu. They say that Muhammad Musa Mbelo was the worst FCT minister who even was the longest serving from 20 to the countenance and body language of Muhammad Buhari. He appointed him in 2015 and he left office with him. And the Nyesom Wike now went and inherited a dilapidated, disorganized, disenchanted, and FCT minister taken over by all manner of non-state actors and all manner of hoodlums. And you know what greeted the FCT minister that would have put fears in him when he arrived at Abuja was the insecurity. Abuja was already captured. We can say in the last 3 months now, we have not heard about kidnapping. Today saying that a military convoy that was going on rescue was ambushed in the same FCT and some of the personnel killed when Nyesom Wike arrived. People were being kidnapped. Pastors were being kidnapped in their homes. Lecturers were being kidnapped. Students they just wanted the man to get frustrated. But trust Nyesom Wike, who braces up for when there is a challenge. You know, they say that necessity is the mother of invention. Is the nature of the Abuja Nyesom Wike met that energized him, that redoubled his effort, and he stamped his authority, started by revocating lands that people got through the back doors. People got acres of land from whatever means. You know, after Erufai left, people went back to Abuja to want to colonize Abuja the way it was before an Erufai came. So Nyesom Wike now has come to rewrite his name in gold in Abuja again. Why is he doing that? Because he's not working for a Tinubu. It is not, as today, Nyesom Wike is marking his 1 year in office. Bola Ahmed Tinubu marked his 1 year in office, 29th of May. So this is the name of Nyesom Wike. He's right, but most of those ministers think that they are working for their principles.
All right.
But look at what is happening now. Nyesom Wike has come to rejig the security architecture, interfacing with the security chiefs. Now he calls for media parley now and then. Of course, we saw him as a state governor do it. Which of these FCT ministers that I mentioned their names now called the media parley that the whole world watch them, right, you know, roll out what they achieved or what they intend to achieve? Nyesom Wike came out, roll out a blueprint. Look at what he did. In Abuja, the civil servants there are being mortgaged by the federal civil service. The federal head of service is the head of civil service for the FCTA, but he's under the federal purview. So they were shortchanged. They were not even remembered that there are existing civil servants under even the local governments in Abuja. That's the picture. You don't understand what Nyesom Wike did for them. He now rescued them from that, from that cage they have suffered over years. What he did was that he went to the president. He got approval to remove the FCT because the TSA was a clog in the wheel of progress. He got the FCT out. He now led the civil servants to have their own head of service. He now have permanent secretaries and head of departments from the local governments that are heading their various local governments. He now went also into the rural area and now begin to work with the traditional rulers in the 6 area councils, which have not happened. You know that each party has lost Abuja. Each ruling party has lost Abuja from the Jonathan era. Even the state house, they normally lose the polling booth in the state house. But what did the Nyesom Wike do? Nyesom Wike came and look at those things that were making people to be dissatisfied with any administration that hitherto should have benefited the people in the city first. What did he do? He went for the completion of the vice president house, which has been awarded and abandoned. Some of the projects he made on ground that have been completed now were awarded in 2007 and 2011. But now you find out that he has completed and he's building Abuja division of the Federal High Court or Federal Appeal Court. The Abuja FCTA division, not the Abuja Federal division. There should be a clarity in the sense to what I'm saying that Nyesom Wike have done, because people may not understand it. Why is there Court of Appeal in Abuja, and how is there High Court in Abuja? And you're building this division is for FCTA. He's now building quarters for the judiciary, which we saw him do here. He has now talked about revamping of the rail lines. He has completed it. He has completed a lot of projects that even the Mr. President, the only thing that he used in marking his 1 year in office was the projects being executed by Nyesom Wike. I sat here and I said it. Which other minister presented a scorecard? And Nyesom Wike would have not done that if he had not played the politics of a visionary leader. Look at what he did. He is going to FCT and he made sure that Anakpabio becomes the Senate president. Yes, of course, because his budget will be going to the what do you call it, to the Senate. And if he did not get the backing of the Senate, the backing of Mr. President, he will not be able to execute all this. And he has increased the IGR of FCT by 53%. They are now going to 127 billion. All right, as we can see. So these are some of the achievements that, and many more to come. The only thing I want him to do is that he should go into the rural areas, the localities, and uplift the health, the health infrastructure, maternities, and the primary health cares. And also he should look at the rural roads, those things that have made the Abuja people that were removed from their comfort zone to that hinterland to feel a sense of belonging. That is what he should look at in his second tenure. As in his second year as FCT minister going forward.
Very, very detailed explanation there, Ugochukwu. Victor, very quickly on a lighter note before I move on to the next story. Last time I visited Abuja before the FCT minister, I was greeted with a very gory sight of cattle, cows, and herders along the expressway, even blocking the highway on Abuja. Like, we had to wait for them to cross, and I'm like, okay, this is the Federal Capital Territory. What is going on? I mean, not even at night, during the day. Victor, is that still obtainable?
Yeah, it is, honestly.
It's still very much obtainable.
Yeah, but I think what they've done is, they have routes. What they've done is created alternatives, some even through interland, the city, for them. But I mean, we still see them. So,
but is it still as rampant as it was? Or okay, you're saying it's more regulated now?
Yeah, it's more regulated
than
and
before.
When you say rampant, it wasn't really rampant, at that time. Just that, just like I said, there's an authority. When people recognize that if you do something wrong, you will be scolded for it. And there's this agency that. What's his name? Felix Oboa heads in the municipal forgotten the name, but they are the ones in charge of controlling.
Okay,
that
so movement.
The environment.
Yes, the environment. So I think they're doing, in terms of that, it's not as frequent as it used to be.
Okay.
You still see them, but not.
But they are now very regulated.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
And there is something I want to add to it.
We're actually out of time for this.
Yes. The FCT minister has done something very expedient in his administration of FCT, in trying to make sure that Apple road, you will not understand the Apple road, that people are commending him, Apple to Asokoro. It is a no-go area, despite the fact that is the place they call the big man area, but the roads were impassable. The roads were in deplorable condition, because I've been there severally. And also, another kudos to him is what my brother said about the renovation that's going on with the ecumenical center, with the Christians in Nigeria has not even galvanized themselves to really finish. And also the mosque that had been built, I think, during the Ibrahim Babangida era, and now is undergoing a facelift. I think that should be a kudos to him for even bringing these two major religions in Nigeria into perspective of what he's doing. It will help him to gain their support, and then he has to also find a way of meeting with Mieti Allah and other people in order to mitigate this glory site that you have painted.